All right. Okay. Today is our last session. Um, and it might not run for the entire 3 hours. It depends really on like how we gonna be progressing. Um, and that is the current flow for our last meeting here. Um, we will be sharing your last concept um, where you're showcasing it. We'll review this together. Everybody, please pitch in because it's like and be uh, as frank as you possibly can be without being offensive. Um, but a good critique is always better than like a pat on the shoulder for stuff like that maybe was not really that good. So like we have to set our bar a little bit higher every time when we create something. Um, we'll be using the 3F framework to this a little bit more in the next slides. And then I'll showcase some of my stuff, what I'm normally doing, so you see like that like I'm not completely full of shit. And then we are going through our top 10 takeaways. And that would be basically a small sheet to prepare together, right? And ultimately, the whole um, reason for coming together is that we, number one, get to know each weakness and each strengths and where we can help each other and where we can sort of inspire each other. Because as team members of the Sunstone group. Okay. What I'd like to do first is like to run through like the 3F framework um, so that we can evaluate our works a little bit more critically. The 3F stand basically for form, function, and feeling. A lot of designers, they consider the form first. That has how it looks, and then the function. Some people do it the other way around, and some people do none of it. So sometimes it completely fails. So if we achieve all of them, then we would be creating a successful, high impact work to communicate in a form that is beautiful, clear, emotionally engaging, and effective. So form, function, feeling, right? Form we dictate, function we dictate, considering the reason for the work and the audience, and feeling is what we want them to feel, not what we want to feel, right? But the audience wants to feel. So form is like how the whole thing comes across, Yeah. Your form is the visual expression of your idea. That includes layout, typography, color, imagery, composition, style. And you say, oh, this is all very complicated. Once you get to put the stuff into place, then it becomes simple. Remember always, taking away is better than adding. You only need to add stuff if the information you have on the screen isn't enough to convey your message, right? As an example, it would be a clean, minimal slide with a strong headline and great spacing, right? This would be your form. The purpose was to make the content easy to understand and visually attractive. I'm sure that all of you have been in presentations where it just looks terrible. And after the second slide, you're bored out of your head because you don't want to look at it anymore. It's kind of like, and then again, like you've got presentation where it is super engaging because the content is better presented, it's clearer, and it makes more sense. So I've like, it doesn't stress you by actually having to look at it. When it comes to the function, like form and function, it's something very German in a way, like, or Swiss when it comes to it, is when it clicks. Some of like the industrial designers of like the last century in the 60s and 70s, they created some beautiful, stunning product design work. And where form and function came in a beautiful balance. Later on, they became very distractive in a way. Like when you had the early designs, product designs from Sony, they were simple and clean. And then towards the 90s, they become madness of like a molten product of some form with multiple elements which you confused to actually look at. So they lost the clarity. The function is what your presentation, what it does, right? It's the clarity of your expression, readability, content hierarchy, communication logic, usability, in case it is interactive, if you're designing a website or a user interface for an app, or the accessibility to this function. An example, a business slide where the key insight is clear within 2 seconds. We know we don't have the attention span of like a 100-year-old. We have the attention span of like a toddler, basically. If you don't get it after 3 seconds, we're gone, right? So it has to be really clear. And that is what engages the audience wanting to know a little bit more. The purpose is to support the user's need and make the design effective, not just pretty, right? Pretty is easy. Functional is a little bit harder. And lastly is the feeling, right? How does it make the audience feel? It is always the audience. It is never the company wants to tell them how to feel, right? Indirectly, you do this by manipulating them. It's like always consider them first, right? How you want them to feel, right? So this includes your emotional tone, your brand personality, which is a bit of a different topic. If you know a bit about branding, you understand it. The brand personality is your tone of voice, basically, your shininess, your presence. Imagine Ferrari. What is the first thing comes to your mind visually, emotionally, when you think about Ferrari? You probably think about black prancing horse on like a yellow shield, red shiny colors, right? And then you've got like probably the sound of the engine and the exclusivity of that brand. That is basically your brand personality. And this is how they convey it, by consistently enforcing it, right? So that is part of your feeling, how you emotionally connect with this brand. It's part of your feeling. The atmosphere, the mood, the storytelling, how you narrate your story. You can do this either visually in a framework where you guide them through different icons, or by text layout, and the trustworthiness of the site, right? That depends obviously if you are, that's part of your branding, your trustworthiness. It's more important for your business presentation than for candies for 3 years old, in a way, where the brand is the trust, right? It is like Vuitton or Chanel can sell their products because the people trust the brand. They know the product is not much better than the other top brands, but because of the brand promise, they believe in it. Once you break this promise, or the brand breaks the promise and would release let's say like if Louis Vuitton would be releasing I don't know, something like a kitchen magnet for $5. People would not buy it. The people who buying the expensive bags wouldn't buy it because they feel betrayed by the brand by releasing a cheap product, which is probably not as good as like what they're expecting. So this is like how you can betray the trust of the people, how you betray the brand by giving them something that is not worthy of this brand, right? So same thing for your design work. If you are breaking the trust in the flow of your work in terms of presentation, then you're losing the trust with the audience. Example, a campaign visual that inspires confidence, excitement, curiosity, and urgency of a feeling, right? They're all feelings. And the purpose is to evoke emotions and deepen the audience connection to the message. It's over connecting with it. That can be just the color of your slide, right? But you have to figure out how to connect with them. Connect with them through visuals related to your message, supporting your message. It's about bonding with like the audience beyond the contents of your message. So it is form, function, and feeling. Make sure that this is integrated into your design work, right? The ugly would be lots of graphics. I don't say this is a bad thing, but normally it cannot be executed correctly. Poor hierarchy on the functions, no emotional directions, feeling. People don't know what they're actually looking at, how they connect to it. It's just a something. And obviously the good one is with a cleaner layout, readable fonts, headlines in the focal point, and structural bullets as text if you need bullets, you know. You don't have to put a dot in front all the time, right? And then the brand colors and imagery that creates trust that relates back to your image, always in support of your image. You know, images are more powerful than words because we can connect with them emotionally. So having seen the overall structure here for like the 3F framework here, I'd like you to show to your team either a screenshot or a PDF in the chat so we can evaluate this. And for this, you can personally do this. I'll just upload it to your chat here. So you can critically evaluate also for yourself your work. Let me just figure out how to click into this chat here. Bloody hell. Okay. Okay. Um, so I need you to write down everybody as per what you will be sharing with the team in terms of like what's working and what to improve. All right. Form, function, feeling. It could be just like a one sentence, a couple of words, um, how you self-evaluate your own work. And then once we share it, you share your work and you share your activity. So we can see like if we agree, if you want to add something, if we completely disagree with it. Yeah. You do this for the next 5 minutes, and then we'll start reviewing each work. Clear? All right. See you in 5 minutes then. How are we doing? Since your cameras are still off, you need some more time?
Maybe 1 minute for the rest.
Yeah, a little bit more. All about the
Okay.
feeling, F. Trying to figure out the feeling about what I'm looking at.
A feeling is hard, huh? It's like, yeah, it's hard to put in words and hard to put in like emotionally, graphically on a paper. All right. I'd say like we start with the ones which are done. Who wants to go ahead?
Ori?
Yep. What do? F? Do I upload or show my screen?
Yeah, you can just share your screen.
Okay. Still my favorite
Okay. We got
um
it.
slide. So this is the last iteration, I think. Um, I think it reads clearly. I follow your direction, put everything to the left. Uh, it was towards the middle before, and then I added all these lines. so people can follow from left to right. So I think in terms of a form, it's working. What's to improve? I think it's the fonts maybe, or the color, or the background color. And then in terms of function, I think this can introduce the products quickly to the reader. But what's to improve? I think it's the shape, perhaps. I mean, if we could change, instead of using lines, maybe using like highlights or something. And then in terms of feeling, in my opinion, it's still very cold. It still lacks excitement or the urge, the sense of urgency. I don't see that. I don't know if it's not using the right images, maybe. I just want people to see this and then they feel, oh, this is exciting. I want to sign up. This is eventually that's what I want people to feel about it. Like, this is great. I want to be part of this and I want to sign up for these programs. By the way, this is for Good Clinic, right? So these are our products or programs.
Good. Now I need the entire team to unmute, and we need your comments. Right. There's nothing right or wrong here to comment. Do you think, like, starting from the feeling, that is probably like the easiest one on this slide. Ori, what kind of like feeling do you want that participant, or like that the audience, to feel when they're looking at the slide? Urgency?
Urgency and excitement, and basically I want them to sign up. They're willing to like spend the money.
It's trust you want, huh?
Trust, yeah, exactly. Trust and excitement.
Okay. All right. So now it is more on like the team's side here than mine. I want you to be like commenting on your team members' works. Why don't we start with like Sahir, if you pronounce your name correctly.
Close enough.
Close enough. Thanks.
Maybe my comment is all of the font is in bold. Maybe some of it, the weight of the font, the things that is not important, we can reduce the weight. Only that. That's my comment.
Okay.
I agree with Sharir. One of the key thing is in terms of hierarchy. So I'm not too sure, Ori. Hierarchy basically it means you will know which is the main one, followed by the second important one, and the third one. Right now, actually, if I just glance through, I still see a lot of information fighting with each other. Cause Shari did mention bold. Most are bold. Second is font size. They are all very similar. Only the CODE that is the bigger one, but the rest my eyes still tend to roam around. So I would say that is the uh, area that still can be improved the most. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Appreciate the comment. Especially the E. I'm not too happy with that because I don't know, not enough space. Enhanced performance rejuvenation. So that one is not balanced compared to the others.
Yeah, I think like from your team members, both of the comments are very valid. everything is fighting for attention. And we have basically no flow in here, right? If everything is screaming at you, you don't know where to start, where you go second. So you're jumping left and right and left and right. And that is overall confusing, right?
I see.
And then you have got a big gap space in between where it does not connect. So you are basically visually being guided around a loop and left and then you go back up and you don't know which is the part
Mm.
you're looking at anymore. And it leaves you a little bit bewildered. Although the information is very clear, what you're saying, 80% diabetes, diabetes reversed, it's all very clear, but it does not flow, right?
Mm.
That is, um, that's problem that keeps on occurring where everything you present is important, right? So that is, you have to figure out what's the most important thing here, right? And then what is the second more important one? Or does this work to do a left and right comparison? Would it work better if you would group them, right? Or if you arrange them by percentage, start with the lower one first, the highest one lower, but then you mix up your CO, your code.
Yeah, we came up with
And
this code
yeah, so it is,
acronym.
you figure out like where, what you really want them to understand on this slide. All right. Anybody else wants to comment? Don't be shy. You're gonna miss the opportunity because Ori will rip your own work apart. So
Yeah.
you better get back to him now. Nobody wants to? All right. Okay. We can circle back on to your slide later on. Right. Okay. Who wants to go next?
Okay, let me go next. So based on our previous session, remember the idea that you are so poor, you are poor, something like that for the
Yeah, yeah.
healthy thing. So one of your comment was it can be too negative, which can give a negative impact. So I did play around with it and I come up with something that still try to be comical, but then less negative.
Okay.
So
So yeah, go ahead.
the idea is try to make it clean, try to focus on the product itself. And then the feeling is maybe to have some humor in it. Then at the end of the information is the objective of the campaign.
Hmm. So you're going very emotional on this by being critical. Mhm. Okay. So now looking at the 3F, your own critique on your work, what would it be?
Uh, Try to simplify it even more. To me, it has a lot of text in it.
Mhm.
And then the concern is assuming this is an Instagram or Facebook post Facebook IG poster, then maybe people can't really read some of the information.
Okay.
The rest is up to everyone to comment on it.
Okay.
Can I comment?
Please go
So,
ahead.
so the header say check the ingredients. I want to check where the bag of chips is blocking. So I think it's better if the poster is long, you put the bag of chips at the top so I can really check the ingredients. Then I know that there's red flags in it. So right now the bag of chips is blocking me from checking the ingredients. So yeah.
Good. Anybody else?
Maybe the color reminds me of another brand. Some other, I don't know, I'm thinking about some fast food brand, you know. I don't even
Yeah, actually,
bother, yeah.
that's the
That
point, to
it
imitate other fast food color.
yeah, but I'm thinking, oh, maybe this is a fast food trying to it's like reverse psychology. It's like calling me actually. It makes me think about that fast food. It makes me want to go there actually. So because of the color, you know, it 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 motivates me instead of it makes me want to check the ingredients. It's the opposite effect, in my opinion, just because of the color.
Mhm. Anybody
Hello.
wants to
Yes.
go ahead?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think the form and the feeling is there. Like there's an impact on the emotion and the form. There's like hierarchy of the text, but the function is a bit lacking because the flow of the messaging is a bit incomplete. So first check the ingredients, like what Denise says. Okay, I'm being obedient. I want to check the ingredients, but I cannot see it. Maybe where you want the audience to go to? Is it to direct to your product or to saying, is there's a it ends on stay healthy and eat healthy. Then what what is missing? You know, what is the product you're selling and what do you want me to do after realizing that, there are red flags in the ingredients? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mm.
Anybody else wants to have a go? Then again, like here, there are all no wrongs or rights here. There's just opinions, from like people who see your artwork and how they react to it, right? Um, I think if I summarize this, I think it would be the audience a bit confused. They don't know what to do with this information, right? Um, I think it's an interesting way how to present it. I understand where the comments are coming from. My comment on your work would be the ultimate action is not very clear, right? Track the ingredients, great, we do this. And then like what next? So in your hierarchy, more red flags than your last relationship. That is actually like what I would use as a title, because that would capture more views from the audience, because it's direct, it's confrontational, and people can relate to it. And then you would go check the ingredients. And by hiding them somehow, I know like what you're trying to do here, because like most of the time the ingredients are listed so small and in a confusing way in how to present the information that they're difficult to decipher. I would probably just use like a normal nutritional label fact with very dense text in there. So people see it, but they can't read it, right? But your core message would be more red flags than your last relationship, and people will look at it. And then check your ingredients. And then your takeaway, this has to be probably more in your face, because the action is what's really important here. Stay healthy, eat healthy is your second core. First is your title, then you've got your call for action. The rest is check the ingredients and your visual packaging, and that is your main contents, explaining to the audience that they don't know what they're eating. They crap at what they're eating, right? That has to be one consolidated package somehow. So I would do the reverse part, change the title to more red flags than your last relationship, and then make your call for action much, much stronger. That would be my take. What do you think about it?
It makes more sense actually. Come to think of it, better to have more red flags than your last relationship as the main title, then later on followed by the check the ingredient. Agree?
Yeah. Well, I think we can agree or disagree. It doesn't make a difference. But I think ultimately it's like whatever makes this your work appeal to more people, and to be understood in the shortest amount of time. That makes your message more effective. How you're going to do this is really up to you. Right? Okay, great.
Right.
Thank you for sharing this.
Thank
Good
you.
work. Anybody else wants to go?
I'll go next. So I think I'll share this. Okay. To give some context, I'm still sticking with Good Clinic. So the context is this regarding the screening promotion that I showed last week, and I also came up with the uh, Facebook and IG ad visual. So we won't. This is not the point of discussion today. The point of discussion will be this one. So I was thinking from an IG perspective, especially when people come into the Instagram profile and they will see a lot of artwork in this sort of style. So how can I make them feel attracted to some promotions that I want to stand out in the IG grid, the ones where you have a lot of visual fighting for your attention. So I was thinking maybe to come up with a series of visuals, highlighting phrases to invoke sort of like guilt trip people that, hey, you might have used these phrases before when it comes to delaying your health screening. So, the reason why I decided to focus specifically on typography, because I feel this one words speaks louder than the image itself, and the phrases that I use may resonate more with them. Hence, I feel that this execution may stand out better than the usual visuals that we will eventually create. So call to action are all the same, highlighting. I skimmed down a lot of details, just highlighting the price, how many tests, and then consult us to learn more. So the rest of the details will usually be parked under the caption. So the main goal is just to get their attention and resonate with the visual so that they will feel more interested to look at the details in the caption. So yeah.
All right, who wants to comment?
Denise, I
Mm,
just
yeah.
realized for 44 tests, 44
Yeah.
no good for Asia. The number 44 they're together.
But I think the price is attractive enough.
Yeah, I think we should change it to, I don't know, 45. At least not 44. It's 45.
Mm.
Can you find uh, exactly what the number is? Maybe
It is
change it. Not
44.
it is
I'm not too
44.
sure what Dr. Kiran
Oh
discussed with
man.
the lab guy. Yeah.
Maybe you can try 3A, 3A. It's a Malaysian culture to substitute 4 to 3A.
Yeah. I mean, we can figure it out later, but that stands out to me culturally, you know.
Mm.
And then, I mean, are you thinking about putting this like in? So when we look at our IG, right, this will be like dividers among pictures,
Yes. Maybe
something like that, right?
we could alternate this after every
Yeah,
other two postings.
got it, got it. I like it. I like the idea.
Mm.
I like the idea. Um, I think it's good sometimes we have words with no images, right? It attracts our attention, especially those who like to read, right? And the only thing that I'm trying to figure out is I know the call to action is consult us on WhatsApp to learn more. I think it's not edgy enough. I know that the feeling that you're trying to portray is like a little bit horror, right? Like not horror,
Yeah,
what
a
do you
bit
call it? Sense,
fear-mongering.
yeah, fear and sense of urgency, right?
Mm.
But then after that, we also need another sense of urgency for call to action. I think consult us on WhatsApp is still very
Neutral.
mild.
Mm.
Yeah, very mild. And then I'm not sure Megan Avenue quality were clear enough, the
Yeah, I
area.
miss out the
Do
one.
people
Yeah.
know Megan Avenue? Yeah, or more like what would be the most recognizable
Mm.
landmark? You know,
Yep.
I know the OSK building is not very famous. It's not right behind Bank of China, or right behind OSK building, or right across Intercontinental Hotel, something like that. I don't know. Megan Avenue is too, yeah. So,
Mm.
but I like the idea of using uh, big words like this, fear mongering kind of deal. Yeah, and the white background still gives you like fresh and like healthy feeling as well at the same time. So that's my comment. Thank you. I like this. I really like this.
Thanks, sorry.
Mhm. Anybody else?
Hi, I would like to comment on this. Um, since you're using a typography style, I suggest you use a more catchy phrases, like for example, early detection, better protection. Because I think better late than never is a very used phrase. So I think you can look for a more catchy phrase.
Mm.
Uh, since you're using typography. Yeah.
Okay, any comment on like um, feeling,
Yep. Okay.
or was this related to feeling?
Yep. More of a feeling so that when they read it, they like for example, early detection, better protection. You will feel that when you do that, you will be there's something more related to you.
Yeah, it's also catchy. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, you're saying better late than never is too common, so
Mhm.
you will not double take on it. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. I think the better late than never is very
Too
common.
common.
Yeah. Mhm.
So people won't even want to read further. Ah, what is this? Not create. You mean not?
Not too interesting.
Yeah. It something that should give you like another second to think about, right? So something like that. Something to give you a stop, basically.
Mhm. Okay. Anybody else? Denise, how many people do we have in the session today?
We have about 10, but some have informed me that they won't be active in the session.
Okay. Then we need somebody else to comment.
Yep.
Come on, don't be shy.
Can I get Izatu to comment since she's in charge of the Instagram
Please,
page?
please.
So I actually like this style. If I am a customer who are scrolling on Instagram, then I would pause and read. And it is best to have a contact number just so that I can straight away um, dial to book my appointment. Yeah, that's the only comment I have.
Mm-hmm.
But design wise, I really like it. It is maybe it depends on people's liking. Yeah, that's it. That's it from me.
I
So you
agree with
say,
having phone number there because people might screenshot this and then share. So if you screenshot this, there's no phone number, there's nothing to click, right?
Yes. So I think that one is what we can improve for this design. Thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone. I think I can pass it to the next person.
okay. Who wants to go? Izatul, how about you?
Sure, let me share my screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my homework from last week. And based on what we talked about just now, um, to reevaluate my design, to me, what's working is that we can see that the design is actually in bright colors. So it looks fresh considering this is a salad poster. And then what more to improve is that this font for healthy salad should be more readable, maybe I have to change the font so that people can read the healthy salad easily. Since this one is like handwriting style font, so not everyone can read it as how other people can read. And then for the function, I have the call to action ready here. However, the call to action is quite small. So that is what to improve for this design. It should be more prominent since this salad is advertised so that people can order and the vendor can deliver to them. And then the next one is for feeling. What's working in this poster is that it creates a sense of freshness and also it feels healthy, feels vibrant, and because of the color of the poster. But what's more to improve is that it might be slightly overwhelming for people who prefer cleaner and minimalist style of design. And it may look like artificial for some audiences with this kind of elements, the blurry vegetables behind it. So that is what to improve on this design.
All right.
That's all.
Anybody wants to comment?
My comment is, since call for delivery is all capital letter, I might suggest that for order now, make it capital also. And also maybe make the CTA bigger.
Yes, yes. The order now.
My comment is the word salad is overused. So you have visual, the bowl of salad, and then behind salad, 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 then the top healthy salad. I think it's better to have the header like what you have written in your concept. It has to speak to the audience, so maybe it could be convenient for you as busy professional. That's something like it's not the best header, but it is better than just repeating the word salad. Right now, I do think it speaks to your audience at the moment. It just state that it is a healthy salad. So I would tweak the copywriting. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else from the team who wants to comment? All right. I'm assuming this is going to be like a online post or
Yeah. It's supposed to be like a social media post.
okay. And what is the action you want the user to do?
To order the salad bowl.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think like I'll have my 5 cent here of comment. What your team members were mentioning there, I think this is all very valid. And your own criticism, I think like you know what you have to improve somewhere. If you would be targeting a person like me, and you're targeting this, let's say, like before lunchtime, and I look at it, I already know what this is. So I don't have to know wordly written out that this is a salad. And I'm assuming this is healthy because like it looks healthy. When it comes to your call to action, this has to be order now and the call. This has to be together and it has to be big, right? This is the action you want. You don't want to show them a pretty picture of a salad. So I would the catch copy, instead of like healthy salad, which is obviously that is a healthy salad, I would just give them like a benefit. You can say like only 25 calories, boom, as a header title. And they know it's a healthy salad. And so like that would be something for them to convince them, right? Healthy salad doesn't convince, it's just like a product description. So the header should be more like working towards making them click. That would be sort of like in your, when you talk about feelings, right? What should the customer feel? What does it take for the customer to convince them emotionally? Click now here, order now, right? If this is a click to order, then this works. Otherwise, QR codes work, but of course, like not on the phone because they can't self shoot like the QR code. So call for action, bigger. Salad, maybe. I don't know. It works great the way you present the background and the blurry vegetable. Again, like I would, the bell peppers, I would make it balanced in size with like the leaves, with like the basil leaves floating around there. So like they're not becoming like smaller and big. Like you look at the why they're so small. But the copy would be the most important thing here. And it has to be big. And I agree with like with the background, the salad, it looks graphically nice, but if you then you would be competing with your big header, then I would remove it because it would clutter it a little bit. But figure out a copy that entices them to click. It could be just, I don't know, a price of like 3 ringgit 50, only 20 calories. Something that makes them, okay, I'm doing this. That would be my 5 cents. But I think overall, visually, I think it's very appealing.
Thank you, F.
All right.
All right. Thank
I'm
you.
I'm thinking about the audience, right? I remember if you said the audience, right? If
Yeah.
you want to target certain type of audience, say if the audience is female, right? Um, the image that you wanna, the vision that you want to get from eating salad, maybe I don't know, right? You'd be wearing small size dress, for example, something like that.
Okay.
Something like that. So, oh yeah, okay. I want to wear that dress, you know, little black dress that you want to wear, right? It correlates to this. Oh, that means I have to eat this. You know, that makes sense. You know, thinking about your goal, the goal that you want to reach, right?
Yeah, that would be also like one interesting approach.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is always a bit hard to associate feelings with products, right? And to do this without over cluttering your artwork, right? That is a very hard balance to achieve. But yeah, I mean, like as for example, visual clues to make this kind of like healthy, you could throw in like a measuring tape behind the thing in the background or something that connotates it is has to do something with slimming. It is kind of like, but I mean, like this is everything you add has to be strategically like giving the person information of what it does. And it has to be doing it to a certain degree that this is merited, that this visual has some other elements in it. So that's a very hard balance. But I would do this only if you have a line of like, I don't know, like lunches that are specifically tuned to be low calorie or low fat, then I would put this thematically onto like your visuals. Yeah. To add like a person like in the background being super slim and happy, plus a salad on top of it, then it becomes like a very hard thing to balance, especially on a very tiny post. And when the people have got like about 2 seconds to understand it and before they're gone. Yeah. I think ultimately it's like one thing has to be extremely clear in there. And your second message could be supporting it. But the first one is the one you're selling. Okay. Who wants to go next? We have somebody else? If not, then we'll just call for a quick break. Since I guess we'll do it a 10 minutes break and we see each other here. Okay. Thank you. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I thought this was very good feedback from your team. You have a great advantage. You have a very solid and dedicated team where you can bounce ideas back. And it is important, like, to be honest and to try to accept the criticism, as harsh as it might be. But ultimately, if you're seeking advice, then you will get some. Sometimes it's good advice, and sometimes it's advice you don't really want to hear, and sometimes it's advice which might not actually fit. But at least it gives you like a starting point if you're stuck to try something completely new. Now, I need somebody else here to share the work. Who hasn't presented yet? Okay.
Okay, hold on, yeah. I should share. Hold on. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
So actually I already shared this before, but I'm not actively doing design, so I just share whatever I have. Macam tengok I. Okay. So for what is working for the form, I could say that it's clean and structured table layout. And then for consistent alignment, so make information easy to scan. And
Liana, can you zoom in a little bit into your
okay.
artwork?
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, oh.
Okay.
So, and then for the function, I could say user can compare program easily for the fee, date, CDP point and mode. And then the information is structured and logical. For the feeling, I could say it professional and credible, suitable for the target audience, which is banker and also finance professional. So what to improve? I think the table is, the table feel decent. No briefing space between between rows. Too many shade of red, and the CTA, the CTA look hidden at the bottom. No direct registration button. Too much text. Okay. And also the keys selling point also not highlighted.
Mhm.
Okay. I think that's all. Anyone have any comment?
I can give some context on Liana's work. So this is a EDM that emailer that should be sending out. So visual wise, I understand that there is some lacking information like in terms of where to sign up because actually it will be placed in a text format after this visual. So I think Liana missed that information out. So the visual is supposed to emphasize all the key information, but in terms of call to action, where to go or how the link directs the traffic, that one is in the text format after the visual.
Mm. Somebody else, please comment.
For me, I think it's good enough considering this is an EDM. And then the main purpose for this poster is actually to show the timetable. So the objective is there already. Maybe make the word for the reserve your spot a bit bigger.
Mm.
Liana, last time F suggested to put the early bird as the top one. So I think we should do that.
Okay.
If the intention is to give us information about the programs, right? I think when it comes to reading information, it should be easy and clean to read, meaning that red is too overpowering, in my opinion. Maybe it's good if it's only like a little bit of information. If it's a lot of information to read, I think it should be just black and white, in my opinion. So it's it's easy to read. Like F's typical slide, only like two color, you know. I mean, I think the red is just too overpowering, in my opinion. Reading like light color font with red background. It's just, I can only read it for maybe the first two rows and that's it. It's hard to keep continuing. I mean, it's tasking, to me. That's my opinion.
Anybody else wants to comment?
I have. So for this design, I noticed that the program title text are too tight in the table. So it can be better if the text size could be smaller so that we have spaces so that it won't look too tight in the program title row. Sorry, in program title column. Yeah. And then if we keep the same text size, so meaning that if we make all the text size smaller, then I think the column can be a lot more wider so that the self-paced can be in a one line, something like that lah. Yeah, that is the only comment I have.
Yeah. Liana, a couple of questions here. You said it's an EDM. This is being sent by email or
Yeah.
how?
By email.
Okay. So, and do you think people want to print this?
No.
No, they don't want to print it, just want to get the
Just-
info. Okay. Yeah, because if you would do print, then everything would come out extremely, as a black and white printer, very dark. So the bracketing on your rows here, it serves a purpose. And I think like what your colleagues here comment is like it might be a bit overpowering, and the negative text is hard to read the white text on red. And in terms of like spacing, since it's an EDM, you have a little bit more freedom when it comes to choosing your formatting of a table. I also feel that like the spacing on between the lines is very tight. So that comes down to legibility of like the text. Also the alignment. I think center alignment probably does not work here. I would go left alignment on at least the program titles and like the program code. Then here again is like the program code. Is it the most important thing what they need to see at the beginning? Or could this be the last column? So I'm interested in the program title, contents here, What is the product code on it? Then you can find it. So I would look into like your hierarchy when it comes to what you want to present first. Is this program title? Make it readable when it comes to your spacing, your text alignment, so it's easier on the eye. Then give it a little bit more breathing room. So like your spacing of your rows is fairly tight, which for a very compact information block as you have here can work, but you don't have to. It's an EDM by email, so you have a bit more real estate to play with. I understand your background, your bracketing here and so forth. It can work. There's nothing wrong with it. It just comes down purely to readability. Figure out what's really important. This has to be in the first column, right? If this EDM goes out to a person familiar with your program codes, and this is the most important thing they need, put it first. If not, put it last. All right. And then again, like the call for action, ad is important. And your visual alignment. So I think like it's readable, but you can do better than this, right? So I would re-flow like the text and prioritize the columns here, what is really important. And when it comes to the amount of text, there you can actually use your hierarchy in terms of like making the title of the program bold, the rest in regular, so they know like what is the real title. I don't think all of the 4 lines is the title of the program, or maybe it is. It's a very long title.
Yep.
Maybe
It's very long title.
It's a very long title. Okay, then like maybe then if they're just purely titles, then like leave it as it is, but give it a bit more space to breathe, right? So like people can easy read the contents, right? And left align the thing here.
Okay. Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you. So like the interesting thing here is like from your colleagues here, you get, I think, a confirmation on like your own thoughts of like where to improve it. And I think everybody's pretty much on a very similar creative path here. We just have to make sure that like we are following this and keep on improving upon it. And some people are more familiar with like design flows, etc., because you do this every hour of your waking life. And some of them, they are not as familiar, but ultimately it's all about trying to see what you really want to do, right? And not just doing and then adjusting later. If you're building a car, you have a vision of like what you want to build. And then you start from there. You figure out who is it for? Is it for for two people? Is it a sports car? Is it a family of six? I don't know. Do they need space in there? Don't they need space? What is like the thing that people want, and so forth. And then you come to a conclusion on like what you want to build according to your brand guidelines, so it fits into your brand lineup and so forth. And eventually then the boss comes back to you and says, forget it, we're making bicycles. Then you throw everything away and start again. So it's always a process of like understanding and then reworking it to make it better and better. And ultimately bounce ideas off with your team, right? That doesn't mean that you have to listen to all of their advices. As they say normally, like too many chefs in the kitchen doesn't make the soup taste any better, right? You have to ultimately filter out what you really need and decide yourself what you have to do with that part. An advice on like PowerPoint and Ori. I see like that you're struggling with your basic style on your slides. And I think that is unfortunately the problem with PowerPoint. Out of the box, it just looks crap. So you have to do a lot to improve it. This is why like you've got so many online courses and like how to bloody use the bloody damn tool, which is so counterproductive. A suggestion would be go and find some really good templates that you think will work for you and then buy them. I know they cost maybe like $12 or something like this. You can check with your team to serve like where there's a good marketplace for templates and use them, right? Use those templates and like try to rework their flow, because if this is a really good template, it has all of the structures built in, right? It's got your balance between headers and subheaders, etc., etc. But if they're great templates, they even have customized, real good graphs in there, which flow with your previous contents and so forth. If you're stuck, go with some professionally designed templates, buy them, put your data into it, and then you still can screw around with like everything else in there. But at least your starting point will be already very structured and might help you to visualize your data better than like starting from a blank canvas in PowerPoint, which honestly doesn't help. Right? I'm just so infuriated with like a PowerPoint that they haven't figured out yet how to make this work out of the box. Like, fortunately, I don't have to use PowerPoint, so I have different other choices. But there are also like most of like the online choices, like Canva, Vimo, is like they do have different tools and they have probably much better templates out there to work with. A question here to the team. Where would be a good starting point to buy good PowerPoint templates? Any ideas? What you personally would recommend?
Can't remember, but somewhat like teamforest.net, I think.
Team Forest or Behance or
Checking out one site is called Envato. Mm. Mm.
all right.
So Ori, you can check out that they'll show you what sort of graphs, diagrams, so you don't have to build them from scratch. Yeah, and the prices are listed up as well.
You guys should have told me like 2 months ago.
No, because Carl Style is a design
Yeah.
template marketing team developed one, but actually there are a lot available outside.
Well, sometimes I need like shortcut, right, for graphs. So I don't have to like start like offset. I gotta start from scratch, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and yeah, it is hard as a non-designer to carry a certain style language from one slide to the next if you have to start from scratch. That's a lot of work, especially if you're developing your own brand identity and so forth. That's why like templates do work. A lot of templates are rubbish. They just look great, but they look very generic in a way. Like that is forgettable. I would not go with anything which is really forgettable. Go with something that you personally feel like, hey, that is interesting. And you just figure out maybe you have to balance your colors on it. But that you can do on the master slide. And you take it from there, but at least the structure and the hierarchies are already pre-built in there, and maybe your color themes are pre-built into those. You might have to work with like a couple of templates to sort of like to see like what really works. Some ideas might work from one template, but the style would be different from like the one you actually want to work with. But you can copy or steal ideas, and so you can produce a balanced, consistent presentation out of this. Normally, this takes years to do, and you don't have years. You have got it maybe a week or so. I don't know to get this done. But I think like ultimately, like the team is there to give you feedback, so you're not stuck in a box there. Yeah, that is your advantage of like a Sunstone there. It's got a great team of people. So I wanted to show you if I think we went through the people who wanted to share, the other one still don't want to share. Then we'll move on and I'll show you a little bit of like what I normally do and why like all of like those processes are important in like design work and like let me just go with I think it should be that. Okay. Let me figure out where you guys are. My terrible dual white screens here. I'm always lost everywhere. Okay. As you know, like I work in our separate business branch, in contact. We're dealing with consumer goods. What you see at your Watson, Guardian, pharmacies, etc., supermarkets, and so forth. And that is a new product which we'll be launching first in Singapore, then in Malaysia. The challenge we have in design when you deal with consumer products is that like you are appealing to a very broad audience with specific needs, and you're fighting a absolutely terrible battle on the shelf space. Right? For marketing, it is the job to secure the best visibility on the shelving. Right? If you're at a bottom shelf, you're basically screwed. Nobody's looking at it. So you have to fight for like the top of space. It's a real estate war in there, like where like the chain stores are charging you fortunes per a 3-week cycle just so you are in their face. But it doesn't help if like the shelf is 3 or 4 meters wide, 1 meter 60 tall, and is populated by, I don't know, 300 products. Every product is screaming, buy me, buy me, buy me. And this is by categories, right? So if you would be, that would be a health supplement. It fights against all the health supplements they have in their store. And there are lots of brands in there. And each brand has, I don't know, maybe like 20, 30, 40 SKU or like products or only 2. And your job is to make the product visible. If they don't see your product, they don't buy. Very simple. Well, first thing is make it stunningly visible. The people notice it. They come to that aisle with a specific need in mind. It's sort of like, I need to buy I don't know, multivitamin. They use normally one specific brand. They normally gravitate towards that brand and sort of like, I need to buy this. As a design perspective, is like you have to gravitate them away from what they want from that brand. You make them notice you. The more products you have, the better it is, obviously, because you're commanding a little bit more real estate on the shelves, but they have to notice you. And number 2, they notice you. 2 is like they understand immediately what they're looking at. Right? There is no confusion in there. So I'm like, and it has to be appealing enough for them to go there and look at it and take it into their hand. Once they have it in their hand, all the information needs to be so clear, they have no more questions in their mind what this is. So if they see you, they understand what this is, the information is clear in their head, and you speak an emotional language which they are open to. You don't speak a corporate language, you speak an emotional language tailored to that customer group. Then you have a chance they'll take the product and put it in the basket. The last part, and the part which is then not so important anymore, if you do all of the steps right, is the price. Right? If this product communicates all its functions clearly, honestly, in a way that they accept it and resonates with them, then price is not important anymore, or not that important anymore, right? So then you have a chance for them to buy your product. So you have to do all the steps right, always, with all the brands and all the products you're launching. You have to do it better than anybody else on the entire shelving. And that means, I don't know, you're competing probably against 50 other brands with I don't know how many SKU or products they have in their lineup. So that is the kicker of it. So you always have to be selling your feeling. That would be a new upcoming line, and it communicates clearly what it is. Snooze plus melatonin. Obviously, it looks like a gummy, so it must be a gummy. The gummy is obviously like much prettier on the packaging than it is in real life. It's the same thing when you go like to a McDonald's. The burgers on the display look fantastic. The real thing looks like complete disaster. So I cannot make it too beautiful, because then they look inside and stuff like, oh my God, they're not white and clear and frosty. They are kind of like brownish and I don't know, and yellowish. They must be spoiled. If you make it too beautiful, then they'll complain to you, so like something's wrong with the product. Right? So you have to have a balance there. You can't be overselling. right? But you also cannot be showing the product as it is. Imagine you go to McDonald's and you put real pictures of the real burgers up on the display. My God, it doesn't work. So there would be something like this. And all of those, they come in a box. And here you can see like hierarchies and parts where we elevate information out of this. And the tone of voice, like the feeling of the communication, how we communicate with them. Try to make it as simple as possible, right? So, but you've got like a highlight in there. You've got like a colloquial language that speaks to people. Multitasking, so is this gummy. Try to be a little bit witty, but not too funny. But so it's a little bit different than like the corporate centrum approach is probably kind of boring anyways. Then you present all of the information on the package and go a little bit beyond of like what you're supposed to be normally saying. So explain like what each vitamin does, for example, if you want to know. Be very clear about like what's inside of the product, what it does. Inside of like what is a center fill technology. It's nothing special. We make it special. So they believe it's something which has not been in the market. It's something new. So it's just a UVP basically. And you make it so attractive that like they must buy it. So if this works, then the product is a success. If it doesn't work, it sits on the shelf and they send it back to you. So, and that is obviously, we don't want that. That would be another brand. Some of our brands. PN stands for Principal Nutrition. That is targeting obviously like younger female adults, and it is styled accordingly. Right, always like very clear benefits in their face, so they don't have to think; they just understand it, and that's the most important part. And you have to make it uniquely appealing. Here with like a black thematic on the product, so it makes it a little bit more luxurious. White makes it a little bit more clinical. It depends on like how do you want to be selling your product to what audience. At the end, the pills are the same in the boxes, right? It's just your packaging in a way that sells your product. Here you also see a clear hierarchy. They know exactly what they're buying. Vitamin C immediately, and then high potency. Okay. And then it tells you what's special about it, the rosehip. And then you have like a time release, blah, blah, blah on it. So you have like some key information for you to say like, hey, that must be effective. It's almost clinical. It's got a time release in there. You don't know what it is for, the time release, but it sounds good. All right. So it has actually health benefits to it. On the back side, you have a highlight yellow bar on it, which tells you how many to take per day. You always have to think from the perspective of the consumer. What irritates me the most when I buy pasta, and start cooking, I look at the packaging and try to figure out how many minutes do I have to boil this pasta. That is the most important information for me. But very few times it is presented to me clearly in front where I can actually see it. I have to go scan the packaging front and back. Where is this? How many minutes do I have to boil the damn thing? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 12? I don't know. So this irritates me. It takes me, I don't know, 15 seconds to find this information. That's the most important information for me. So make this obvious. So here, for this kind of packaging, what most of the people, once they buy it, they say, like, how many do I have to take per day? Like before or after the meal, it's important. If it's not written down there, then disregard it. It's once a day, anytime you want. Present it clearly, and then present the benefits. and make it kind of appealing, the product, so people want to buy it. Make it clean, almost clinical for this type of like product. For the same brand here is the jumbo pack, the super value pack. It's uglier in a way because you put this big banner on the top every day, good value. So it screams in your face when it stands on the shelf, that's a good deal, right? A lot of people prefer that over like a, let's say, like more expensive looking product. That this is targeting exactly the value customer, makes them understand clearly and feel that's a good deal for me. I must be buying it. And then you present the information exactly what's inside of it. On the back, the benefits, how many you have to take per day. And with your iconography, basically you tell them all of like the plus health benefits this product has, as simply as you can possibly do. This is a mass market product, and obviously it's targeted very competitively in the market. So yes, they're going to be looking at price, but if you already convince them visually that this is a good deal, then they don't start calculating that much anymore. Comparing about how many pills is inside of this one here, how much is there. After 2 a day, and this one I can only 1 a day, therefore it is twice as much you have to take. You take all of this away and guide them basically in like where you want them to think. All right, so it's all about how you structure your design and your feeling towards this. That's classical one. This brand we launched, God, how many years ago? Probably 17 years ago, this brand. It looked very different at that time. For the last 10 years, we have not been advertising this at all. Zero advertising, zero marketing cost. Just put it on the shelf and people buy it. Here again, it's very straightforward. You look at it, you know exactly what this is. It's a slimming product. Obviously, it stands in the slimming category. Slimming product. It's got a couple of elements in there which obviously conveys this. One's the shape of the lady, the arrows pointing towards weight loss, that measuring tape, and then it's got like the word professional on it, which is always good. Strong, which is also very good. And then you guide them towards like 8 new action. New is always good. So once you start pushing those words inside, you can create a very appealing product. And then, because it contains raspberry ketones, which is like one of the ingredients in there to help you slim down, you have those raspberries in the background because they are happy and fun and juicy, right? This product is targeting women in their mid-20s to whatever, mid-30s, 40s. So it's always something fresh, happy is better than like something gory and boring. And that's why this product keeps it selling without advertising. It's all about how do you position yourself, what is important for the audience to read. Do they want to have a gentle weight loss product? No. Everybody wants to lose weight fast. So give me the strongest one you have. If you've got a headache, you go to get your Panadol. You're going to get Panadol Extra, not Panadol Gentle. Right? Function in there. Here, yes, obviously, like the text is not very readable. That's not the point of like this packaging here, because like you don't really want them to read a lot. You want them to buy this, understand, buy this, the product, but it is there. So we could have put like the raspberry a little bit better placed so you can actually read the text differently, but it is what it is here because it has a very clear objective to make it juicy, right? To make it a farm product. That's one of the lines which we launched during or after COVID. K-Lab, Korean formulated products. Here also it deals with a similar customer base, but who wants a little bit more of a refined product, a kind of like me generation, kind of like I am special. I don't want those supplements my parents are buying, like the ones from before, like the big value pack, right? It is something special. It has to look appealing, has to look beautiful because I am special, right? So it is a very different approach to the same problem, but you have to speak the language of the consumer because ultimately they're only going to be looking at something they're interested in that appeals to them, right? So we're fighting against all the multivitamins on the shelf, including our own, but it's a different clientele. So the language is different. How you present it is different. It is just a different way how to communicate the same thing to different customers. But you see, it's always like you have got your hierarchy in there. Like what's important? The she want is the product name. Then like she is, she feels, she balance for different kind of like functional supplements. I don't put everything in here because like it's just one example of a brand. That is a much more clinical approach to a brand. There's a brand purely focusing on probiotics. In this case, probiotics for women. And here you can notice that like everything is fighting for attention, right? Under probiotics for women, plus, plus, plus. This has a very jammed feel to it, and that is on purpose. Right? This is, but here it is the clinical approach. If you make it too balanced, then the product becomes a bit too boring, too clinical. So you have to spice it up a little bit by making the text block in the middle a little bit unsettling in a way. Like it's a little bit irritating. And that is what it takes it away from this purely clinical product where you have everything probably in the smaller font size, a little bit more structured and balanced out there. But then it becomes like a product which is kind of like, nah, it doesn't have the want me appeal to it. And that little rebellious part which takes it a step away from being clinical. So you have to know the rules to break the rules and what the effects are. Anyway, this is how you later on work with balance and structure. And that is one of our hero lines. We have this in the market for what else now? Probably about 18 years. And in 8 different countries, including Mongolia. If you see all of the product line together, it becomes very powerful because it's really colorful. It's really busy. That follows this very similar thought pattern as like the manga covers from Japan, where it is more is better in this case. So you put a lot of elements in there, which makes this product immediately relatable to mothers, knowing it's a kid's product, right? It's happy. You've got your rainbow in there. Makes it kiddie. Then you've got your gummies in there, which makes it relatable to a candy. Then you've got your vitamin bubbles that people know is that, oh my God, there's so many vitamins in there. You've got your supplements, your benefits part in there. And on the back, you have a clear structure how to communicate your benefits of the product to the parent once they pick it up and turn it around. And funnily enough, in this kids vitamin category, there are a lot of competitors. They have probably right now, I don't know, in Singapore, probably 10 brands, with each of them having at least 5 products. We have got, I think, 12 products by now. In Malaysia, we also have competition in there. But when you look at the packaging, the quality is palpable. You can really see that this brand is superior in quality and ultimately is more expensive. Right? So it's like for the kids market, parents tend to spend more money than on their own products. Right? The parents might, I need a multivitamin, I'll buy like the mid product or a little bit cheaper. Everything it does the same thing. When it comes to the kids, they are buying mid and up price range, right? It's the same thing if you get your first car, you get like your local brand, basically you start with this, but ultimately you actually want to drive a BMW, you want an Audi, you want something else. So same thing with like the behavior of like our customers. They buy a cheaper product, but they gravitate later on to the better product. And ultimately they always end up with us. And we are the most expensive one on the market. We are also the best ones in the market, I must say, when it comes to quality and ingredients. But here we're speaking a very clear and simple language that resonates with the consumer, makes them understand what they're buying, and make it very clear that all the information is on the package. There's no more question mark left for them. Then that would be a approach to a product line, also supplements, functional supplements for the older generation and more at like the traditional pharmacies, at the TCM pharmacies, at like the Hochwas chains, etc. Or and it appeals to the aesthetics of like an older generation. You've got gold in there and it looks premium. It takes care of like what it really does in a very simple language. That is a different approach to the same problem. You see, like we've got a lot of products and a lot of products which are very similar, but we are targeting this at different audiences. So the feeling is very important here. I think if you can zoom on this a little bit. No, cannot zoom in. And that was also one of our products, Manuka honey from New Zealand. That's also marketed as a premium product. And here you have like your elements to make them understand there is honey with those hexagons in there in gold and Manuka being premium. And so New Zealand is like a place of origin, etc., and purity, obviously. Then you've got like the UMF mark is like a New Zealand mark of like Manuka purity. So you got all of this information presented in a fashion that like you can guide people's attention towards the thing what you really want to be telling them. And if you do everything right, in case for product design where you don't really have a lot of time to sell them your product and explain them what this product does, you have to do it visually, you have to do it clearly, and you have to do it in a fashion that convinces them of your intent of this product. And that is always my challenge, and that is why I'm very structured when it comes to design work, because I have to be. I If I fail, then the product doesn't sell. It's very simple. We could throw a lot of marketing dollars into it and push them into their faces, but if they're not convinced of the product, they will just not buy. So in designing, it is always the goal to bring your team's effort to the front door of the world and to push it out so like the efforts of your team have been sort of like not been in vain. It's like it's a very important task, and it takes practice, and like eventually we all get there to make it better, and we have to be open on like looking at what a competitor is doing, and not do the same, right? Do better where they fail. What was like that story about like the restaurant owner who took his entire team to the competitor's restaurant, and they were sitting down and having the meal. They ordered everything they wanted. And after that, they had a meeting instead of like, okay, what do you guys think? And all team members were saying like, oh, great stuff. Like, yeah, that steak, that is good. That is a good style. We also can do that. That's a good salad. Now we can do that. Yeah, bam, 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 bim, bam. And then like the owner of the restaurant said like, yeah, but if we do everything what they do, we just look exactly like them. And this is what we don't want. So he asked them to focus on what they didn't like in the restaurant. And they were saying like, ha, 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 ha. The wine list, it was all focused on wine. For the people who ordered beer, they just gave them like their standard beer. They didn't have a beer list because restaurants make money on wine, obviously. So I was like, okay, good. So you can focus on beer. And the other guy was saying, like, okay, the coffee was a bit rubbish. And so I was like, we can definitely better that. So, okay, good. So they took all of the negative points of the restaurants and improved those in their own restaurant. So they turned one of the staff who liked beer into the microbrew specialist, and have a special selection of products, beer products, catering to beer drinkers. They had a barista, which made the best coffees they can possibly do, so they could stand out where the other failed. And of course, improve like on their baselines. And that is something what we always have to do is like look at the competition instead of like see like what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, where can we improve and be better than them, right? Not the same, but improve to be better. That would be like my take on like a overall structured design work. What I'd like you to do as a last activity is that we can actually do together, and somebody can write this down. We can capture like the top 10 takeaways on like where you personally feel like what was helpful for you and what you want to be implementing. All right. Why don't we do this? We'll take a 5-minute break here, or like a break for yourself to get some ideas down, and then we compare them in like the group, and we assemble like a top 10 list out of like all of your comments. Shall we do this? I'll give you about 5 minutes to do. Okay, perfect. So, who wants to start sharing? It doesn't need to be having all of the 10 takeaways in there, but like for you guys, like what is like the most top, I'd say 5 in there. And I guess ultimately, like we'll have all of the 10 in there.
Uh, I wrote it on my notes. Is it okay?
Very good. Perfect.
Okay. Some of the key takeaways. First is always read the market.
Okay. Could you hold on quickly? Dennis, do you mind taking notes on this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Is that your? Oh, you're gonna write it. Okay. Always read the market because for kids the design could be different. For elder, it could be another kind of design. That's one. Two is planning is very important. You cannot jump straight away to design. You need to study first. Some of it is always focus on the brand need. Sometimes as a designer, you want to do what you think is best, but actually is what the brand needs. And then comment is important because as a designer, sometimes you didn't see what other people see. So that's some of it.
Okay. Very good.
On my side, every time we design a first draft, it's always good to step back and see what are the areas that you can reduce or simplify. Second is always think from the audience point of view. Third is don't focus so much on the company's information, but always audience point of view. What's the hope that we need to put to get the audience attention? That's it on my side.
Yeah. Yeah. To put this, I don't want to say like ignore like what the company has got to say, more like rephrase the company's intent into a language that the user wants to hear. Yeah. Because like everybody is a bit tired of like companies always shouting, look at me, I'm great, look at me, I'm great, look at me, I'm great. But people are just bored with it. So it's we're living in like a different century and a different mindset. So, and a lot of companies don't switch. And that is I think it's a big mistake of them. But yes, I agree with you, Dennis. Liana. Come.
Okay. Mine. My takeaway is hear my voice. Okay. A strong concept can make design understandable and memorable because you play with their emotion. Uh, emotion, right? Emotional, right? So and then um hold on, yeah. Good design is not only about making things pretty, but also to make the message. The audience can get your message. And then the color choice should be enforce the message, not distract them from it.
Mhm.
Mm, other than next is clear structure help uh help viewer to viewer eyes to read the message flow.
Mhm. Right. Thank you. Isato, what do you have to say?
On my side, the key takeaways that I get is for copywriting, especially on visual, we should uh, write something that can entice the audience so that they are attracted to the action, the feeling that they have after they saw our visual. So like just now that I shared um, the salad bowl poster, so the enticing copywriting should be used more apart from the healthy salad, apart from the just generic healthy salad. Uh, so that is key, the most important things that I learned today lah.
I agree with you. Isato, it is in this generation, it is always like what is in there for me. You know, the Chiasso syndrome. It's like, what's in there for me? It's like, I understand it's a salad, but what's in there for me? What's my benefit? Right.
Yeah.
And mostly it is tagged to like a economic or a personal, real personal benefit in there. And that is the key to grab them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Very good. Dean, are you listening or are you switched off? Let me see.
Listening. I'm listening.
Listening, good.
Yeah.
Do you have something to say?
Yes. Today, I think it sums up with the three F's: the function, the form, and the feeling. I think if you uh if you disregard one or any one of it, it will be not as effective. So I think it's a good reminder. I will remember it because F, right? Is from F. The three F's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Anybody else like Gabi? Are you listening in? You maybe not. Okay. Hannah? Who else? Joemi?
Yep. My key takeaway for this is I summarized my key takeaway for the entire training from the start. So first is build your framework first, then visual will come next. It's like starting rough and finish refined. Then next is great design creates an experience. So every element should have a meaning. It's not just a decoration. Then the third one is your design should be both visual and strategic. It's not just about how it looks visually, but how well it connects with the audience or your target audience. And the last one is feedback is your fuel in building your stronger design. So diverse idea and perspective as well as critics build a stronger outcome.
Mhm.
Those are my four.
All right. Very valid. Thank you. I see. Jessica, are you listening in?
Hi, F.
Hi.
Bits and pieces, but yeah, I agree with Dean. When I heard the 3F, I was like, oh yeah, it's F. It's from F. But yeah, I think that really sums up well. Like, I think design itself, like, so I think for this session alone, I just in and out. But I think from the overall session with you, I think it's, I think reminded again of like the project itself to understand first the objective or the message or the goal that we want to achieve in order to decide the form, like, like what's the outcome. Yeah, so that's important to understand first. And then I think also understanding the target audience, because that will determine the style of the design, the type of fonts, the type of typography or colors, or all these things, like, alignment, all these things might be directly or indirectly correlated with the target audience as well. And I think one of the main thing that also stood up to me is like the usage of image, whether it's in a article or in a booklet or in a brochure. It shouldn't be just like a decorative, but has everything, every element in the design has to have a purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. All right. Denise, if you could, maybe not now, and like compile this and share this with like our WhatsApp group, like the
Yep.
10 takeaways from it.
Sure.
Yeah, I think like ultimately like everybody takes away something uniquely important to their own work, and where we have to be critical about like where we need to improve, what tools help us achieve clarity, and clarity in structure, in message, in emotion, to produce a better form of communication. Here I summarized from the previous sessions some of like the important parts here. We talked about 4 steps of framework: concept, structure, message, and execution from like the previous session. Concept is important to figure out what is the shortest sentence you can create with what you want to achieve, right? That could be sort of like for, if I go back to these are tools, Salad. What is the value? What is the message in there? Sort of like the concept would be like great value lunch. Then you have the value part in there. But if you want to focus on healthy, there's like low calorie lunch. That would be your concept. And then you build your structure, your message, your execution out of this, right? So the concept is important to have in your mind clear. It helps you build the entire set for like that theater piece you're presenting, right? And we've got like the 8 principle of good design. They could be 4, they could be 20, they could be 200, but I choose to only go with 8. Not because 8 is a great number, because I think this is enough to get things really done. So balance, emphasis, repetition, movement, proportion, white space, contrast, hierarchy. Here, they're all interchangeable, sort of like if for you white space is most important, that's your number 1. If your repetition is important, be number 1. So like they're all interchangeable. There has no fixed order in a way. But sticking to, let's say, like 4 out of them minimum should get you somewhere fairly decent in a way. Like, and then for your evaluation, use the 3F framework: form, function, and feeling. Yeah. In terms of form, does it achieve the function? Do you communicate the feeling in a way? This is on your evaluation, basically, how you assess yourself. Did it reach all of these parts, right? That is pretty much the design structure in a nutshell. If you follow those 3 principles here, like the 3 steps of, I keep on repeating words which I'm writing in there. This is kind of very confusing. So the 4 steps framework to create your overall imagery or contents for your PowerPoint, right? Concept is very important, right? And then the 8 principles is like how you're gonna be doing everything inside of it. Proportion, white space, bam, ba, bim, ba, bim. This is your basic tool sets, which you have to achieve some kind of clarity, yeah, in good design. And then stepping back to say, like, did this actually really work? Does it have form? Does it have a function? Does it have a feeling in there? And then you can use those ones to balance your 8 principles again. Maybe you have to shift this around. You don't want to be shifting your concept anymore. But this should be your thought workflow overall. And lastly, I'm putting this again in here because it is important that as designers or people in charge of bringing out the message to the wider world, that you are really aware that your work is really critical. And I know in nowadays world where like sales is more important than like your graphic message or your marketing message in there, be reassured that what you do is basically the pivot point of making your company successful or not. If you've got a great sales team who can sell without any of your support, fantastic, great, super. Most of the time, it's not that case. They need a lot of support from marketing and from the graphic side. And mentioning marketing with graphic is, in today's world, a designer has to be thinking as a marketeer. If a designer is not thinking as a marketeer, then its position in like a commercial world is probably the wrong one. Probably he should be going into art and create artwork for galleries or for museums. Because like ultimately, marketing is the expression of design nowadays. And designers have to be in sync with like the marketing team. And the marketing team have to be in sync with the designers. So it is one feeds off the other. So there's a very important collaboration with your team. And ultimately, sales should be in communication with marketing and marketing with sales, and maybe not with design, but at least marketing stands in the middle, fighting like the grounds between sales and creative. So it's a tough new world out there, but it's a fun world to be in. I hope this session helped you guys in gaining a bit of clarity, encourage you to work closer with your teammates, and don't be shy to reach out to each other and ask for advice, right? Don't ask the sort of like, hey, make me a great looking PowerPoint. That is like your job to do, but I'm like, there's like, what doesn't work here? I'm stuck. So I have like any ideas how to make this more, whatever that more might be, more happy, more feeling, more effective, clearer. Reach out to each other and like share your thoughts. Right? This is how everybody is growing. That would be like my last comments here. Any questions from your side?
I want to add one more.
Yeah.
I think from your second session, I really love it. And I think that's when you highlight about the movement, the eight method, I guess. What would you say? Principle, yeah. Like in a way you highlight also sometimes the movement of the audience eyes. Sometimes that also can be an approach to the design, which is I think that's kind of a new or refreshing idea for me lah. Yeah, so there's really a lot of variety of approach to the design that even can think out of the box of like how do you want the audience to see from which angle, from which direction. That is quite a fresh perspective, I guess. Yeah, creative. Yeah. But anyway,
Alright.
thanks so much for all the session.
Thank you. All right. I'll let you go a little bit earlier today. I guess everybody still has a lot to do. But it was a pleasure. And I'll be pushing like the last session PDF into the WhatsApp group. Okay. I hope we see each other soon and have a wonderful day ahead. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Ed.
you. Thank you, Af.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye
Thanks,
bye. Thank you.
F. Bye.